distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish I could have been with you, but unfortunately my agenda decided otherwise. Having said that, it's a real pleasure to address this very talented and brave group. Let me first thank you for your commitment, a commitment that is close to my heart, working for every woman and girl for the defense of their rights and freedoms. And for that, you have my full respect. We have this in common, the desire to advance the equality of women and girls and to contribute at the same time to a fairer society. This was dear to me as a journalist and filmmaker, and it is even more dear today as a minister. And if I may, I'm sharing a secret with you. It's actually another woman who contributed to my engagement in politics, Sophie Wilmès. First woman being Prime Minister and then first woman Minister of Foreign Affairs in Belgium since its birth in 1830. This year, we celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It guarantees that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. One of the aspects covered by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and by several human rights treaties is the right of women and girls to participate in political decision-making. As today's debates and exchanges have highlighted, this issue is more topical than ever. In the world today, women represent only 1 in 4 members of parliament. And if we look at women ministers or heads of government, the situation is even worse. And I'm not even mentioning women's struggle to be taken into account during peace negotiations. Women's political participation is linked to the organization of society as a whole. It depends heavily on social, cultural, and economic factors. It is related to education, economic position, sexual and reproductive health and rights, the division of household chores, persistent stereotypes, the role of the media during elections, voting systems, and many other things. In short, to achieve equal participation of women in political life, we need gender equality in all spheres of society. And vice versa. More women are needed in politics to achieve gender equality. And many examples allow us to be hopeful. Rwanda, just name one. If Rwanda was able to rebuild itself so successfully after the tragic events of 1994, it was notably thanks to the actions of women. In Rwanda, they have been taken part in the political life of their country in a proportion unequaled anywhere else in the world. Even today, Rwanda is the only place in the world where more than 50% of the members of parliament are women. They have become policymakers, setting a concrete example of how a nation that puts its trust in its mothers, sisters, daughters, and neighbors can only contribute to the general interests of its people. The full realization of gender equality and the human rights of all women and girls are objectives that Belgium pursues through all foreign policy domains. Belgium fully embraces the broad scope of the Women, Peace and Security agenda. The implementation of this agenda in all its dimensions requires concerted action by the international community. We must promote a safe and enabling environment for all women, peace builders, mediators, human rights defenders, civil society leaders, journalists, and advocates for gender equality. We must strengthen international support and protection for women refugees and displaced women in conflict and post-conflict settings. Accountability for sexual and gender-based violence is of a paramount importance. In that perspective, Belgium fully supports the battle against sexual violence in Ukraine, including through a 2 million contribution to the United Nations Population Fund. Belgium also emphasizes the pursuit of women's full, equal and meaningful participation in peace and security processes and decision-making. As an example, we are specifically supporting several organizations in Afghanistan. Besides core funding to UN Women, we work with various NGOs offering shelter houses for human rights defenders and supporting journalists. Belgium is also active to empower women. Our affiliated think tank, the Egmont Institute, is providing training to feminine leaders from various countries, lately Niger, to coach them on various topics such as communication and advocacy, mediation and negotiation, and leadership. The exchanges and testimonies today, the stories you shared, are powerful testimony and reinforce our determination to continue working for the rights of women and girls. And I thank you all for your dedication.